This segment is from the Piano Inspires podcast, Season 2, Episode 12, featuring Martha Hilley with host Artina McCain.
By now, I had rewritten my treatise. They hadn't approved of it yet. But I thought, I wonder what would happen if I sent a copy of my treatise to Wurtlitzer Corporation, to the music education department, to just show them what their product had done to help my students do better, Well, there no computers, no internet, no anything. So I went to the Dallas Library and found out what town Wurtlitzer Corporation was in. And got a phone number and all of this. And I still owe Jack Pratt for that long distance call. I used my phone at work because I didn't have a phone in my apartment yet. I hadn't made all that money yet. I couldn't afford a phone. So I called Wurtlitzer. And this nice woman answered, and, I told her what I was interested in doing. She said, well, why don't you just send it to us and we'll see about that? And I said, that would be great. And she said, can you send it today? And I said, you bet. So when the mailman got, I also owe him for the postage of sending my treatise to Wurtlitzer. Well, and so I sent it off. And I thought, hey, this is great. Well, 2 weeks later, my phone rings on my desk, and that was the number I'd given them. And I Holiday Inns in Mexico. By now, the Pratts had won the franchise rights of Holiday Inns in Mexico. So they were no longer doing Dairy Queens. They were doing Holiday Inns. Holiday Inns in Mexico, may I help you? And this man said, I need to speak with Martha Hilley. And I said, this is she. And he said, Martha, my name is Lou Hollingsworth, and I'm head of music education for Wurlitzer Corporation. Artina,
you almost passed out.
I dropped the phone on the floor.
Oh, my.
Now, by the time I got it up off the floor, he was laughing out loud. And he said, I suppose you didn't expect to hear from me. And I said, not in this lifetime. Well,
been a comedian too.
it was amazing. It was amazing. He was calling to tell me that they were getting ready to have this conference that they have every year for the employees of Wurlitzer, the salespeople, the district, the different divisions, and all of this stuff. Lots of people. They have like 200 people that come to this thing, and they also invite 100 piano teachers who have a 2-day seminar with Larry Rast. Now, I had no idea who Larry Rast was, never had heard of him, but I'd never had training, He was the head clinician for Wurlitzer Corporation in group piano. It was like meeting God. I mean, I couldn't believe, first of all, I couldn't believe they wanted me to come. And I said, you do know I'm a receptionist and a cocktail waitress. He said, it's intriguing. We think you're our kind of people. Oh. And I said, okay. And he said, okay, our conference is for 2 weeks. And I said, I haven't been at either one of these jobs for over a year. I don't have that much vacation time. He said, I'd be happy to call your bosses. And I said, okay, why don't you let me talk to the boss at my day job and to the club manager at my night job, and I'll let you know. And he said, can you let me know within the week? And I said, sure. Well, I hung up and I went in to see Jack, and I said, have you got a minute? He said, for you, you bet. And so I sat down and I told him, and he said, well, you're going. And I said, I don't have that much vacation time. He said, Martha, do you really think that I think, and Ed and Bill think, you're going to be in this job for the rest of your life? And I said, I love my job. And he said, and we love you. But this is not what you want to do. Right. You're a musician.
Yeah.
And I said, well, yeah. He said, go. And I said, okay. And he said, when are you going? And I said, it's in 2 weeks. And he said, that's fine. Well, that night, I went to work a little early, and I said to George, I need to talk to you. And he said, okay. He said, well, go.
See, I love it.
So I went.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I met all these people. It was astounding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I learned something on this first day of the teacher thing. Larry Rast was, he was just, it was like magic.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a break at noon and went to lunch. And when we came back, he said, everybody take off your name tag. So we took off our name tag. He said, okay, turn them face down. And we did. And he went around that room, Artina, and told every single one of us our first and last name and where we were from.
Oh, wow.
Now, he had met us at 8 that morning.
Oh, wow. That's special.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, I could barely concentrate on what he was doing the rest of the afternoon.
Right.
And the minute it was over, I walked up to him and I said, how'd you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, how'd I do what? And I said, the name thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of smiled and he said, you liked that. And I said, I have to know how you did that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, it's easy. I said, don't tell me that.
No internet. That's impressive.
Yeah, right. And he said, okay, I always request a registration list of people that are coming.
Okay.
And I request it as soon as I can get it.
Mm.
And I have copies all over my house and all over my office. And every time I walk by a copy, I pick it up and I read out loud the names of the people and where they're from. Out loud. That's very important. And then I put it back down. And then the next time I read some more names. And he said, by the time I get here, I know you.
Mm.
All I have to do is put a face with the name I already know and where you're from.
Mm.
And I said, that is astounding. He said, try it, you'll be amazed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that I would say to the graduate assistants at UT, you've got 1 week to learn the names of your students in piano class, because this is not, their name is not Piano 8.
Right, exactly.
These are human beings.
Yeah.
They're real people.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to do this. And they're going like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What? And I did the same thing with the students in group piano. I would say to them by the second week, okay, we're having a test at the end of the week. You have to know the first and last names of the people that you're sitting in class with, what's their instrument and what's their major.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going, what?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and it has to be written down, spelled correctly,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And when they got to class, I made them change pianos.
Mm. Test them.
Test them.
Yeah.
Test them. And that grade counted as much as anything they played.
Mm.
And I'm trying to teach them the importance of, and Larry said to us, there's not a sweeter sound to a person than someone saying their name.
Mm.
And it's true.
It makes you feel special.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Now, my record is 112. But at least I knew these people a day and a half
Yeah.
before I went through my little game trick, you know.
Well, that's what made you so legendary.
Well, I don't know about that.
No,
I
I
don't know
mean,
about
I
that.
was there.
I don't know
You
about
treat
that.
people like humans. We always felt like you cared about us. And,
Oh, I did.
and even though
I
I
did.
wasn't really one of your children, you adopted me.
Yes, I did. I did.
And so let's just take a moment to talk about this legendary career that you've had in group piano and yet UT Austin.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let me say to you,
Mhm.
I mean, I owe my life to Wurtlitzer.
Mm.
I really do.
Mhm.
Because what was happening that I didn't realize is when schools would call them and say, we've got an opening, but we need somebody that's trained in group teaching.
Mhm.
And before I left that 2-week thing, they offered me a job doing 6 workshops a year
Mhm.
for Wurlitzer for teachers
Mhm.
on group teaching. And Larry trained me.
Mhm.
And what I didn't know was when colleges would call, they were giving out my name. So the first time I actually applied for a job and interviewed and had to teach was when I came to UT.
Mhm.
And I'd been teaching in higher education 12 years
Mhm.
before I came to UT.
Mhm.
And Wurtlitzer just kind of gave me those jobs because my name was the only name they gave out.
Yeah. That's a good tip for students today, right? The connections that you make, you never
The
know.
connection, you never know.
Mhm.
To this day, I think, where would I be
Mm.
if I hadn't turned in that treatise? Where would I be if I hadn't been a cocktail waitress and a receptionist?
Uh-huh.
You know,
Mhm.
you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
And I tell you,
Be sure to listen to the full episode on our website, pianoinspires.com, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.